So I imagine when you first start writing, a lot of your stuff is probably on the opposite of joy, right? But I've seen and heard of a lot of your songs now, and there's a lot of uplifting messages and joyful stuff in your music. Was there a maturation or an evolution process to get from your first writing to where you are now?
Yes. So starting out, I obviously wrote like worship music and stuff, but I also wrote a lot of like story songs as well. But the stories were all everything was ballads. Everything was sad,
Hmm.
kind of depressing
Yeah, of
sounding.
course.
I wasn't meaning it that way, but it was just as I was going through that journey, it was just where I was at mentally, and I couldn't seem to. I have a whole album that is not under Cynthia Gay or Cynthia Rausch. It's under Cynthia Gale Rausch on online that you can go listen to if you want to. Just prepare yourself. I mean, it's not negative. It's not negative at all, but it is. You can hear the struggle. You can hear the trials that I was going through during the time I wrote that. I had lost a baby. I had a friend, the fear of my child, being born with disabilities. So I wrote songs about them, and I wrote songs about all sorts of different situations. I'm trying to remember all of them, but I can't remember all of them. I've written a lot of songs over the years, but that first album, it's hard for me to listen to it now. I'm not gonna lie, but it is also very encouraging when I do listen to it to remember where I came from and how far I've come,
Yeah.
and to see that, like you said, evolution to the next point that I'm at now. And now I have more uplifting song or more upbeat, joyful songs than I have sad ballads at all. And I mean, it just kind of depends on the mood of the week too, because you never know if I've traveled a lot and I'm tired. You never know what's going to come out. But no, I just to go from that first album to what I have now and what I'm fixing to actually take to the studio in April. Um, I'm very excited to see how everything's changed and how much I've grown, and and to hear the responses from people. That's been the biggest
Yeah.
tell for me.
Yeah,
Is
experimenting on audiences is
yeah.
important, right? Would you
Oh,
say that
100%.
your songwriting is experience based? Is it all experience based? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I understand what you mean. Is it all from personal experience?
Yeah,
Quite a bit of it is. If not, well, I mean, you honestly, they say write what you know.
yeah.
But early on, I also have never co-written until recently. And had no, there was nobody to write with in Kansas. Uh, at least for on my music. I helped a couple friends write theirs, uh, but yeah, it's experience based. Quite a bit of it, because I don't think you can write a song that you aren't in a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because I've tried to do the whole like disassociate thing, but I'm like, but how do I word this if I don't know what I'm talking about?
Well,
A
sometimes
little bit.
sometimes your writing can be conversational too. Like you just mentioned when I
Yeah.
said bro, that's your broken talking. Like,
Yeah.
you can take something like that conversationally and turn it into a lyric, and then kind of create a world around that lyric.
For
That's what a
sure.
lot of our songwriters can do too. Do you do that? Is that something you're able to do?
Oh yeah, that's actually probably the number one way that I do write. I don't know how many notes I got in my phone that are just
Yeah,
like one liners.
right.
And actually, one of the songs I'm taking to the studio, it's called "I Saw Smoke," and I literally, it's the one about a girl burning something down because a
Hmm.
guy cheated on her. But literally, we were outside. We were outside. It's fire pit. That's what it's called. My brain just shut down for a second. It's like you don't know what that
Glad
word
I'm
is.
not the only one. Thank God.
Oh Lord. It's like, oh, anyways, there's a word for that, but we're not gonna say it today.
At least you
But
didn't
no,
give it another word. That's what I do all the time. Like,
I've done that. That's
yeah.
why I gave myself a moment. I'm like, you're gonna get it.
Like
You're
the
gonna
other
get it.
day,
But
I called compression socks construction socks. Just stuff like that.
I mean, in a way, it depends on what you're dealing with.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, no. So we were outside with the fire pit, and we were talking. Me and my son and my husband we were all talking and everything. And we were just sitting around there, and Ethan said something about my son said something about, I saw smoke over there. And I was like, I saw smoke. And it just stuck in my head. It just like, it's like I don't know how to, like, it's like an earworm, I guess is what they call it.
Yeah.
And it just stuck. And I just like, ooh. And I just got my phone and I put a little note and I just left it there.
Are you hearing melodies when that happens? Or are you just like, okay, that could be a line. And then you just put the line in there? Or are you hearing melodies when it's said?
Sometimes it depends. It just depends on where my brain goes. Like, I've had both happen.
Yeah.
So when I started writing Coming Home, the melody was there immediately. Oh. Like walking these old dirt road side streets, looking at the sights, reminiscing. I instantly heard the melody in my head and sang it into the phone. I didn't just say it. I sang the melody. That's the melody I used.
Right.
But with like I Saw Smoke, I had the line for like a week in my phone, and I was looking through and I was wanting to write, and I was like, that's a really good line. And then as I said, I saw smoke. I just instantly like heard this like gritty, like Louisiana bayou kind of
swampy. Yeah.
Swampy. That's the word. Yeah. Swampy, like vibe and everything. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be a burning something song.
So now do you start creating a story around that line? Is that how it works?
Yeah. I guess I don't know. I've never really like super analyzed how I do it.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of experience with anyone yet to have them tell me, hey, you're weird like this, See,
that's my curiosity. Like my go-to is talking to songwriters. I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of songwriters.
Wow.
So like I love to hear the different ways that they all get to the carrot, right? Like they all start with the same thing, which is nothing, and then they end up with something amazing, almost always. And everybody gets there a different way. It's so damn cool, man. It really, truly is.
Yeah. When I first started writing, it was literally I just sat down with my guitar and I would freestyle. And I would just sing the same line over and over to add as I went.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a recording device at the time. And it was before cell phones. And then at least I didn't have one. And I just kept going over and over the song. And I would memorize it as I went and then write it down. And that's how I first started writing. And then I realized there's an easier way. It's called a recording device.
Yeah, hello.
Don't lose nothing that way.
Exactly. Yeah. It used to be the yellow yellow pad. That's what used to be the songwriter's best friend. Then it was memo pad in your phones and your little sound recorders and stuff like that. I can't imagine just the amount of stuff that y'all end up with, And do you find yourself going back and kind of like a Rolodex, kind of going through something like if you're dealing with writer's block or something, you have all this stuff banked up, so you can go back to it any time. Do you find yourself doing that?
Oh, I do that fairly regularly. If I'm feeling a little like, I don't know, like just blah.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of anything to write about. I actually have in my storage back in Kansas, I have boxes of sheets of music of pieces of whole songs that never really made it past very far. I'm like, this needs to be done better later. I'll go back to it eventually. That I would love to go dig around in again, but it's 6 hours away. No, on my phone, I have literally thousands of notes.
I can't imagine
that I can go in on. I finally had to start doing it where it's easier if I just do one note and just keep going down instead of like an individual every time.
Yeah.
And so that helped me a lot because then I can just scroll through and just see them really quick. But yeah, no, I go back quite a bit and I've even had like songs where I completely wrote a song, or I thought I did, and I went back later and I forgot the melody, and instead of going in and listening to the recording I had in my phone, I just made up a new melody and it was 10 times better. And I love doing that. I love it when I make it better.
There you go. Yeah, sometimes you have to revisit, and sometimes time can be your friend with stuff like that.